there, folks. Sean Broderick, and I'm at the New Orleans Investment Conference again, and I am talking to Mr. David Terry. He's on the board of directors of Golden Arrow, which is a great little play down in Argentina. It really has an interesting story, and he's going to fill you in on it. Now, I have talked to this company before, 2 years ago. They were just starting to do some things then. They've actually fulfilled all their promises, which is really nice with an exploration company. He can get into that, and they have a bigger future ahead of them, including some near-term production. Could you please speak to my viewers and talk about that?
I'd be pleased to, Sean, and thanks for having me on again to talk about Golden Arrow. It's a very exciting time, actually, for the company right now, as we started extracting ore from our Chinchillas silver lead zinc deposit in July, and are ramping up towards going into commercial production. The guidance from the operator is by the end of the year, and it's a real accomplishment for a company to actually discover a project like that. That happened in 2012 for us. We announced the discovery of Chinchillas, and to go through the whole exploration stages, and we put out an initial resource estimate and then a preliminary economic assessment. It expanded the resource, did another preliminary economic assessment, and then entered into a option joint venture agreement with Silver Standard at the time. Now they've changed
SSR
their name
Mining,
to SSR Mining, which I always forget. But yeah, so they exercised the option with us, and we became partners in March of 2017, and received the permit for construction of the Chinchillas mine right around the end of 2017, and now we're going into production as 25% partners in the operating company.
Great. So these guys had a deposit that was so good, SSR Mining had to have a piece of it. In fact, had to have most of it. And so you'll have cash flow from that coming soon, and then that will fund the other projects you have going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, basically, the Praquitas mine that was operated by Silver Standard was running out of ore. It had been in operation for some time, and we found this Chinchillas silver deposit about 35 kilometers as the crow flies to the northeast of their deposit. Mm-hmm. So they already had obviously invested a lot of capital in building a processing plant and all the infrastructure and everything, and we had a brand new discovery, and so that was the impetus to put the two assets together. And so, yeah, you're right. I mean, basically, since we formed the joint venture, we are the 25% partner, they're the 75%, and they operate. So we've put most of our efforts into advancing Chinchillas since 2012, and now we're at the point where we're starting to get back to exploration, which we're good at, and looking towards the next discoveries. And along that line, we've made a couple of significant acquisitions that have just been recently announced in Chile, actually, just across the border.
I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah,
it's a great mining country.
And we have a large portfolio of exploration properties in Argentina as well that we've assembled over the years. Approximately 200,000 hectares at some of the better known mining camps and mining jurisdictions within Argentina. And we've got some large projects adjacent to some of the producing mines. But we wanted to get add to our portfolio with some more advanced stage projects, and so we decided to diversify a bit and go across the border into Chile. And we just announced the acquisition or an agreement on the Indiana gold copper deposit. Basically, it's got a historic non-43-101 compliant resource estimate that totals about 600,000 gold equivalent ounces.
That's a nice start.
It's a nice start.
I mean, for any company.
Yeah, and it's a vein style deposit, and there's multiple veins on the property that have not had any drilling or anything, just been defined, with surface mapping and sampling and that sort of thing. So we feel there's a lot of scope for expansion on that property. It's actually already permitted for production, and there's a couple of ramps that access the mineral resource on the property. It's in right in Region 3 of Chile, north of Copiapó. Great access, low elevation, can be easily worked on all year round. And then the other project that we announced just before that is called Atlantida, and it's a copper gold porphyry style project, which has been worked on in the past by Inmet and First Quantum, and they defined a significant mineral resource, totals of 427 million tons of copper gold mineralization, again non 43101 historical resource. And adjacent to that, there's an area of gold skarn mineralization that there's some historical workings on, and it was not part of the land package when those major companies were working on it. So that's something that we've been able to do, is to consolidate the land in that area, and we think there's a good potential not only in finding extensions to the deposit, but particularly in the area of this skarn system on the margin of it.
Excellent. So you have one mine that's going to, in the very near term, go into a commercial production. You have two great projects which you'll spend some time exploring, and you'll have the money to do that. You have a great team. They have success behind them. They look like they'll have more success coming. And all this in a company with a 30 million market cap. Why? What am I missing? Why is this thing so cheap?
Well, I certainly don't think it should be that cheap. That's for sure. No, we're in that stage right now where we've been telling everybody obviously that we're advancing towards production, but it hasn't. We're just in that process right now, and
people have a wait and see mode in this kind of market.
Yeah, once we start to publish results and that sort of thing going forward, and get working on our projects in Chile, I certainly think you'll see the value in the shares.
Okay, great. Let's see. What's the stock symbol?
GRG, trade on the Toronto Venture Exchange.
And you're also on the OTC.
Yes, we are.
And I'll get the I'll get the symbol for that. Is there anything else you would like to add before we go?
Well, we'll certainly be keeping stakeholders and investors updated as we move forward in this exciting time for the company, and so stay tuned.
All right. Great company. Lots of news flow coming, obviously. They will hit some actual milestones that I think could generate some excitement around the stock. We will take a closer look at it. Thanks very much for speaking to my subscribers. You folks stay tuned. I'll have more for you. This is Sean Broderick in New Orleans.